Today, I'm talking to Rachel Detroit. Rachel had a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, and we're going to talk about how she turned her life around and how she found that nothing tastes better than walking. She'll explain what she means by that. I think that's quite a profound thought. She's now a holistic health coach. She helps people find their way forward into a happier and healthier life. So, Rachel, I think you've been in some dark places in your life and you've been really open about that on social media. So I wondered if you could just tell us a bit about that and maybe how you got out of those dark places as well, because that's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It started at a young age, really. My whole life was um, volatile. It was quite chaotic. And at different points, right? It wasn't always that way, but at different points. And then my coping mechanism, I remember in seventh grade, I started smoking cigarettes. I had a couple of friends and we stole their parents' cigarettes. And then I started smoking cigarettes. And that was kind of the beginning. And then from there, in ninth grade, I got a fake ID. But at the same time, I got all A's and I was on the soccer team and I was on a tennis team, right? But inside, I was just like so sad and so anxious and so depressed. So I started drinking and drugging at a really young age. I was partying all the time. So from 14 to 28 years old, really, and I'm 33 now, I was just drinking and drugging and partying. And I would say that as I got older, the drinking got worse, right? So it continued to get worse. It continued to get worse. And then marijuana and partying. And so that was pretty rough. And my eating habits were so poor. I was sad all the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time. My coping mechanisms were eating, eating really unhealthy foods, using substances. And then, so all of that catalyzed into an MS diagnosis. So at 28, which is why I was like, oh no, all the fun's gone. I have to quit everything because they said that I had MS. So I was given this diagnosis and it was really hard for me. I had a hard time putting my clothes on. I couldn't like hold my urine. My mother helped to dress me. She was always there for me too. So she was always super supportive. She still is till this day, but it was really tough. I didn't know like what is my future going to be? MS is a disease that attacks it's a neurological degenerative disease. And I remember the doctor, he said to me, Rachel, either have brain cancer or MS. And I was like, well, I hope I have MS. um, yeah, it was really tough.
So when you got the MS diagnosis, that was when you started to look at your life. Yep. And all the partying and drugs and alcohol and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like, it really is one of the best things that happened to me because without that, I probably would have just continued on this path of a job that I hated, uh, doing all the substances, drinking, sleeping poorly. But it was like a wake up call. And I was like, all right, we have to clean up everything. No more drinking, no more drugging. We're going to go to bed on time. We're going to change what we eat. We're going to exercise every day. Well, I was always meditating. So it's kind of interesting because I had some really good habits while I had the really bad habits. Like I've been meditating for almost 10 years now on a daily basis. Um, so I was like, we're going to double down on the meditation. And also like this whole process of changing behaviors, it takes time. So it took a while to, okay, let's check out my relationships. They're not helpful. And also like during this time period, there's been ups and downs too. There's been like pretty low spots in the healing journey. And that's a part of the process. That's a part of the cycle too.
How did you change your diet? Because you said you were eating a lot of rubbish, I think. So how did that change?
Yeah. Tons of rubbish. I mean, I used to eat fast food so often. Um, and I was dating someone where one of the things that we did together was we would just go and find like the coolest looking food, which is basically like the most deep fried stuff with cheese in it, to try, you know? But I immediately, I was like, this is so scary. I immediately just pulled the plug on everything. And I was like, we are just drinking juice. So I actually started quite extreme. I was like, we are just drinking juice right away. And I took it, like I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating oil. I just cooled it on everything. I was like, this, you know what? I was like, whatever's going on, this is what we're going to do. So actually the first couple weeks I was in the hospital, and right off the bat, I was working with like a spiritual doctor, and he guided me to eat like certain things. And I just listened. Whatever he said, I was like, I think there was some chicken breast in there. There was some, so right off the bat, I didn't go plant-based, but within like 2 weeks of that, I was like, I'm done. No more meat, no more. And then I followed, medical media. Actually, he's just like some guy on the internet, and he really advocates for like celery juice and juicing. And I was really into the celery juice. I did that for a while. And then I started to implement whole food plant-based eating. So I was just excited about it. I was on it, and I did a lot of raw. So my diet was really consisting of, so it went from eating junk food trash to lots of potatoes. Well, not raw potatoes. Potatoes, lots of potatoes, apples, bananas, oranges, nuts and seeds. And sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, how did you switch?" But when you receive something that's like super life changing and super scary, like I felt like my stakes were high. I was like, it wasn't really that much of like a debate for me. It was like, this is what we're doing. Let's go.
I was actually talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and she was saying she had severe arthritis and changed her diet and effectively now is on no medication and so on. So she's in a really good place. But she was saying that often people who are very ill, just as you were, for them, their food, whatever they were eating, is comforting. So it is actually much harder to eat healthily, but that doesn't seem to have happened to you.
I bought the medical medium book. So to answer the first part is I bought the medical medium book,
Mm.
and I have a spiritual connection. I have a pretty deep, strong spiritual connection. And I really love that it was like, because my family was very spiritual, is very spiritual. My mom is quite spiritual. So I felt like it was a calling to me that I could change this. I could heal myself, that I could do all of these things. So that's why the medical medium really spoke to me. And in terms of the comfort, something that went off in my head over and over and over was nothing tastes better than walking. So for me, walking is way more of a comfort than food could ever be. And I was a professional binge eater. I look on my old Instagram account and I look at the things that I posted. It would be like pizza and cake and cookies. And I mean, because I always loved taking pictures of my food, which hasn't changed, but now my food's quite different.
Tell us what you eat in a typical day, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always start with a smoothie. I create this idea. I've always started, I call it the 1-1-1-1-1-1-1 method. And basically you just need one of everything. Although I do like 2 cups of greens usually, but for people to start, 1 cup of greens, 1 cup of liquids, 1 banana, 1 cup of berries or frozen fruit, 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, just to get people going. The 1-1-1. And it's like really easy to remember. Just one of everything. But I always start with a smoothie, and mine are actually bigger than that because I like it to be full. I like to have a really nice breakfast. And then after that, I'll have like a piece of fruit or 2 pieces. Like this morning, I did my smoothie. Then I had a mango and an apple with some cashews. And for lunch, I'll have perhaps some like a form of potatoes, sweet potatoes, white potatoes. I really like white potatoes. I don't know why everybody's got such a beef with the white potatoes. They're so good. Um, I'll do something with the potatoes, other veggies. I've been lately incorporating tofu, more tofu for the protein. So then, like for dinner, I will have some, or I'll have the tofu at lunch, or I'll have it for both, or I won't have it for either, um, and like that. And I really just make sure that I incorporate a lot of greens, and I really like to fast. So I've changed my mindset about like food is this thing that's so good and I need it because of the flavor. Although I do cook well, I understand now that it's like I actually just need to fuel my body. Am I getting the proper nutrients? Am I getting protein? Am I getting the right antioxidants? Is this so I eat a decent amount of nuts. I eat a decent amount of tofu. I don't really participate in beans. Tofu is beans, but I'm not a huge bean girl. I eat a lot of potatoes, drink a lot of water too. Lots, lots of green.
And I know you're a huge fan, like I am, of exercise. So, presumably pre your MS diagnosis, you weren't doing much in the way of exercise, were you?
Not exercise on a regular basis, no.
But now you are, I think. Now you think exercise is really important.
Yeah, every single day I will exercise, and it doesn't always have to be heavy. Um, and I know if I want to move my body every day, then I have to move my body every day, right? So some folks who have an MS diagnosis, they end up unable to move. They end up in a wheelchair. They can't walk. So I remind myself, if I want to walk every day, then I'm going to have to walk every day. So I don't miss a day. And the strength training is super important, building that muscle so that my body can be strong. I want to be strong. I want to be able to get up and sit down and walk and do all the things.
So what sort of strength training do you do?
Right now, I'm doing a cycle. So I'm certified in personal training, so I like to program certain things. Right now, I'm doing a cycle, a 4-week cycle that has to do with core strength and core stability. So it has a lot to do. So it's like 4 days. It has a lot to do with the plyo balls, the physio balls, where you're doing weights while like on a physio ball to work on stability. So I like to lift weights for strength training, hit all the core body parts. I also really like kettlebell. Kettlebell is so versatile and so, especially for mobility, you can use it. And then I also really like yoga. So I always stretch. I always do some yoga. And I just bought a trampoline. I'm
Oh,
pointing over
right.
there because it's over like an indoor trampoline. And so I've been
Yeah.
bouncing for cardio and it helps with your lymphatic system. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you're really active now. So do you think those are the two core things in helping you manage your MS, your diet and exercise? And do you consider that you are actually managing your MS? Or would you put it more strongly than that?
Yeah. So when I think of, like you said, the two core things, I believe it's holistic. I think it's every mindset, stress management, relationships, physical movement, nutrition, um, substance intake, just all of it. Is my career fulfilling? Am I living a happy life? How is my sex life? How is really everything? How are my finances? What am I doing? Everything. 'Cause finances is quite stressful. They really can make people sick. So all of it is really important to me. And that's what I do when I coach with people. They think they're walking in on some nutrition coach. And I'm like, no, let's talk about everything. I want to hear it all. How's your business? How's your, I get a lot of entrepreneurs and I'm like, well, we'll focus on business. But then I'm like, so how's your health? Are you exercising? Because it really is. It's everything. And your other question was managing the MS. I have graduated into a new mindset of if I was given the diagnosis, I don't have to have it forever. It's like, and I want to acknowledge it. I want to respect it, right? I don't want to pretend it's not there. Like, yeah, it's totally there. Like it's a part of what I do and who I am. And I don't stick tightly to it. Like it's not going to hold me back. If something arises, like a funny feeling in my body, I do my best to not say, oh, it must be the MS. Sometimes people are just tired. Sometimes the leg is just sore or weak. So I really like to give it space. I want to respect it by doing all the lifestyle things. And then I want to also just be Rachel. I want to just live a full life without being held back.
That's really interesting, the idea of respecting it, but also being more than that. You're a bigger person. You're not just an MS sufferer. You are something much more than that. And in being something much more than that, that minimizes, I think, the effect of the MS on you.
I truly believe that health comes in cycles, right? And so I was just in a cycle of where my body needs to heal, where my body needs more. I was treating it so poorly. And so my body was like, knock, knock, knock. Hello. Are you going to take care of me? We're in a cycle, right? Give me attention. And so then I can kind of help it, just push through the cycle to heal, to get better, to do what is my will? What am my will isn't to be drinking and drugging and partying. That's actually, because if it was part of my will, I wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would be your fundamental advice to someone who's got an MS diagnosis? What would you say to them? Can you encapsulate something for them?
Yeah, it would be, first thing would be never give up because you can heal. The body wants to heal. Your body wants to heal. And what your MS is telling you is to listen. And another thing, I'll try to keep it tight, but another thing is that a lot of folks with MS and autoimmune conditions have an inability to speak up for themselves. So, like I said, I'm pretty spiritual around this, but in terms of why do we contract the disease where our standing is affected? Because oftentimes we don't use our voice. We don't stand up for ourselves. We are not stable in our lives. Where, like for me, I was living a very unstable life, chaotic, hectic, all over the place. So build stability, right? Build the stability, trust the process, change what you eat because it wasn't working. Change how you sleep. It wasn't working. Change everything because it wasn't working. And you can do it.
Yeah. And the results are so worthwhile. I love what did you say earlier? Something about nothing tastes as good as walking. I mean, that's true for, getting adequate sleep. If that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. And that will help you keep walking and keep moving and keep you mobile, having great sleep. So it's really important to value these things and not go, oh, but I want to stay up and watch this film or, scroll through YouTube videos or whatever.
It takes a lot of discipline to, because there are some things that I say no to. Like people are like, oh, do you want to go do this? You're starting at 8 p.m. at night. I absolutely, in my heart, might want to do it, but I'm not going to do it because I respect my body so much that I say no to actually, it feels really nice to say no. So, um, and another thing I wanted to add in, I didn't say this, just to the people who have MS is no matter how far down the scale they are. So some people, they experience really debilitating symptoms. Our bodies, everybody's body has neuroplasticity. And even if your foot doesn't move, even if it just moves a little, you can rebuild these neural pathways and the body wants to heal. So really don't give up no matter how far down the disability track you are, or you think that it's over, you think it's game over. There are so many things that you can do. Electronic stimulation, just there's so much that can be done. Just don't give up. Do not give up.
And you work as a coach. You've already mentioned that. Um, how would you describe yourself? Not you said people come to you maybe for nutrition and they get a lot more. So presumably you don't describe yourself as a nutrition coach.
So I I'm like a holistic health coach. And when I say holistic health, I'm talking about the health of your business. I love working with entrepreneurs. I love being a business coach. So I have a couple of business clients. Um, I love, so how's the health of your business? If you're the center of your business and you're not healthy, business is probably not very healthy. How is your food? How is your exercise? How is your sleep? How is your stress? How is your finances? How are your relationships? How is your sleep? How is your substances? So I don't like to niche down into, oh, I'm just a nutrition person. Health in all forms, health in every form.
Right. I can imagine that you're quite a strict coach, but also have a lot of empathy and understanding too. Is that right?
I definitely coach. I coach people to get through the hurdles that are keeping them held back. I'm honest. I'm direct. I hold people accountable. I deliver because their success is my success. And I sure love to be successful. And I want them to get the results. And I meet people where they're at. So some people, they don't need a super because they have like a really strict upbringing. And it's actually a turnoff for them to have a super strict, and they just need love. And I'm so full of love. So some people I serve, and I'm a Gemini, so I'm really good at doing all the personalities, but I'll serve love that they need. I'll serve them that motherly care they need of like good work. Keep going. You're doing fabulous. And some people, I just let them know, like, hey, you were supposed to do this. What's going on? And then we talk about what the holdups are. So I would say I'm a Gemini coach. I kind of can mold into what I know will serve my clients the best to help them get results.
Fantastic. So, I mean, do you see people via Zoom or in person, or how does that work? Or both?
Everything is online. Everything is via Zoom. I live in Michigan, so I do have a client or two in Michigan where where I've already done some in-person things, like teaching them like what to buy in a grocery store. So that, if you live in Michigan, those things can be worked out. But overall, it's virtual via Zoom. We meet once a week, and we text. We stay connected. We stay connected. We stay accountable. And I got their back.
Yeah, yeah. And I love your Instagram account. I tell you what, there's lots of Instagram accounts that make me think and stuff. And yours does too, but it also almost always makes me smile when in my feed, here's Rachel, great. And immediately I start smiling, even when actually the comments, the caption is actually quite serious and thought provoking. But somehow the way you do it, it always makes me smile. So tell us about it, will you?
Yeah, thanks for saying that. It's a wonderful compliment. I like to inspire people. I like to get them. It's just super important to feel happy, to feel good. And I do really believe that um, I can be a bridge for people to help them feel good, to feel inspired, feel like they can do it. And the Instagram account, I like to let my personality show through. Like I'm silly and I'm fun, and I'm also serious, and I have experience in my field, and I understand. And I want people to know I've been a complete mess up. I have been hit rock bottom. I have messed up so many times, and I still rise, and they can too.
It's really good. We'll have links to all that in the video description. So if people want to find you, they'll be able to do that. We'll have your website and your Instagram account as well. So thank you so much for talking to me. It's been wonderful, and hopefully it's given some people hope, because I feel very strongly, there's a lot of people with an MS diagnosis say, okay, downhill now. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. But you're saying there is the possibility of it not going downhill, and that actually, I mean, as you said yourself, that your MS diagnosis was one of the best things that happened to you, because it put you on a new and more life fulfilling path. So thank you so much. It's been really great.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.